Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for coming back. It is time, folks. It is time for my final Oscar predictions. A lot has changed since you last heard from me in terms of my BAFTA predictions, mainly that being the BAFTA nominations came out and we had some shockers, though I must say, I do apologise there's no reaction video, but I've been working, and as if you heard me in the BAFTA video, I was very unwell with COVID. Luckily, I am now recovered, but oh my god, I was not well that day, man. Oh boy, I'm surprised I was even able to edit that video together. It wasn't as shocking as we all imagined it could be, especially compared to last year, but it was pretty telling, I would say, actually, in some particular categories, which we will get into. Anyway, starting right off in Best Picture. So we have the obvious, no doubt in my mind, is going to get nominated. Power of the Dog, Belfast, Little Creature, King Richard, and Dune are complete slam dunks. All five of them, at one point or another, people were talking about the possibility of them winning Best Picture. And whilst obviously we can look at King Richard and Dune now and know that they're probably not going to win Best Picture, they're still definitely getting in for the nomination. We then have West Side Story, which has been struggling in terms of getting nominations in categories it really should be, but I don't really take that too seriously in terms of Best Picture, because whilst yes, it may be underperforming in cinematography, production design, editing, where it should just be getting slam dunk nominations, there's still no doubt in my mind that at the end of the day it will get into Best Picture. It may just get snubbed in certain categories, a lot like Mank last year. My main concern for Don't Look Up was that it had mixed critical reviews, and Coda being it came out super early for the awards race. But then when you look at how well they both did at the BAFTAs, which is a very telling award ceremony for the Oscars, considering it's the one just before the Oscar nominations, it often tells you what's surging, what to look out for in terms of surprises, a lot like last year with The Father getting in and winning in certain categories. So yeah, I'm fairly confident that they're both getting it in today. Now, my number 9 is Tick Tick Boom. I am a little bit worried for Tick Tick Boom for the pure simple fact of at the BAFTAs it did severely underperform. It didn't even get in at Best Actor of all places, which I thought would be one of the top 2 picks. Not only that though, but it doesn't look like it's going to get a lot of love in a lot of categories, so it does make me wonder what departments in the Oscars will love it. However, I do feel like the one place in the Academy that will love it the most is the Actors branch, which is the biggest and most diverse out of all the branches in the Academy. So that does give me strong hope. Not only that though, but Tick Tick Boom is just so well loved that I feel like it will just squeeze in that 9th spot. Then comes the loose number 10, which is anybody's game. Everybody that I know who predicts in the award circuit is really struggling with what's known as do the 10th slot. A lot of people are going with being the Ricardos as it got the PGA, which I can see the thought behind it, and it definitely could happen. The thing that makes me think that maybe it won't happen at the end of the day is that about 60% of the time, not all of the films are getting at PGA, getting at the Oscars. And this year that'll be all the harder because it won't be 8 or 9 nominees, it'll be a guaranteed 10, which makes me think there's almost no way PGA are going to be 10 out of 10, right? That would be insane. So it got me thinking outside the box a bit. What has the most passion behind it? What's the most well-acclaimed film? What's having a last-minute surge? It leads me to Drive My Car. Now, the BAFTAs really gave me confidence in predicting this because because it did get an adapted screenplay and director, which was super telling about how much it's been seen lately. And not only that though, but if you see Drive My Car and see how good it is and see how written it is, how do you ignore it? Just how do you? So whilst yes, I could go with House of Gucci, which has a lot of love from the Actors branch, Nightmare Alley, which could get in just out of technical love, or being the Ricardos, I feel like there's enough here for me to predict Drive My Car. Best Director, so the top 4 is this, and say it with me. Jane Campion, Denis Villeneuve, Steven Spielberg, and Paul Thomas Anderson. They are all for sure, in my opinion, getting in, which then makes my number 5 and 6 really difficult. And I know you're looking at it right now, and you're all shocked, but my number 5 is Ryosuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, because every year there does always seem to be that one foreign that one international director that gets in. Last year we had the shocker of Thomas Vinterberg for another round, and I feel that that really opened our eyes to how this happens. And last year Thomas Vinterberg got in at the BAFTAs for director when there was a jury, so everybody thought him in nothing. And I feel like we're going to have a similar thing this year. then that leads me to thinking who's going to get snubbed. I thought maybe initially Paul Thomas Anderson or maybe Steven Spielberg, but they're both just so loved and renowned directors, and their films are so well directed. It's really hard to see it happening. So in the end, I've gone with Kenneth Branagh being the snub for Belfast, which I can't really explain why I've done it. It's quite hard to put into words. I just look at this top five, and I really struggle to think where Branagh fits in amongst these nominees. I'm shocked at myself to the point I've come to this conclusion, but I guess we're just going to accept it and see what happens come Oscar morning. Here we go, Best Actress. So the BAFTAs really threw us through a loop when they nominated Lady Gaga and Alana Haim, then missed out Nicole Kidman, Jessica Chastain, and Olivia Colman and Kirsten Stewart. Like, Best Actress wasn't up in the air enough this year, so much like last year, it's been put even more up in the air. So I don't even really know what I should call the frontrunner to get nominated here. But as Lady Gaga got the BAFTA nomination, she's looking to win the BAFTA, because the BAFTAs are crazy good at predicting Best Actress. I have got her at number one for the nomination, followed by Nicole Kidman, then Jessica Chastain for the Eyes of Tammy Faye, which a lot of people are for some reason just keep predicting and get snubbed. And like, yeah, I guess it could happen. But when she's been getting in everywhere else, why would I now predict she's going to get the snub? Like, I'm sorry, but like, no, I don't see that. She's getting in my opinion. Then I have Olivia Colman, and I'm so happy to say this, after the BAFTAs redeemed her, I'm going to say Alana Haim has a shot of getting in, which makes me so happy that I get to say this, and I really hope it happens. But then it also makes me very sad, because there is the best performance of a female actor from last year, who we all know we'll miss. Kirsten Stewart for Spencer just deserves to be winning this, and I can't believe we live in a world where not only is she not looking likely to win, she's not even looking likely to maybe even get the nomination, and that's a fucking sad truth to be living in, folks. And then my numbers 7 and 8, I feel like could equally get in. Jennifer Hudson for Respect always kind of seemed like a front runner, then she dwindled away, now she's kind of coming back, and it is such a big performance, so I could see it happening. Then we have Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers, who did miss the BAFTA long list, but she does seem to be kind of gaining that hype again. People are talking about her, I see her popping up on prediction lists, and I could maybe see her being a shocker nominee, but I guess we'll see. Best Actor. My number 1, 2, and 3, I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me, for sure they're getting nominated. Will Smith, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Andrew Garfield. Boom. Done. Then my number 4 and 5 is really up in the air, and I know people aren't going to agree with me, they're not going to like me, but I think Denzel Washington and Peter Dinklage are going to get snubbed. I'm actually predicting Javier Bardem for being the Ricardos and Leonardo DiCaprio for Don't Look Up. Bardem because he got Golden Globes and SAG, and he's looking likely to be the co-lead in a film where the lead actress could win. Not only that though, but when it comes to Leonardo DiCaprio for Don't Look Up, I thought he wasn't happening at all, because he wasn't getting anywhere else. But then the BAFTAs, of all people, then go and nominate him. So then I think, fuck, how much is he surging so last minute, and how popular is that performance, especially when Don't Look Up could do really well at the Academy Awards. So I hate it, you hate it. I've got Leonardo DiCaprio in at my number 5. Best Supporting Actress. So my number 1 is Ariana DeBose, number 2 Christina Belf, number 3 Kirsten Dunst, number 4 Audrey Ellis, and number 5 Ruth Negga. Passing. Done. I feel like this is the very obvious top 5, and I don't really know anybody who's going against this top 5. It is just so solidified. However, there is a number 6 slot who could happen, and I don't know who she'd take out, and it's hard to think who she would, but Andel for Maths is incredible and should be winning here. So I would thought it was impossible at one point, because Maths was just so underperforming. Then BAFTAs went and redeemed Andel, and I think it could happen. It really could. I really hope it does happen. It also makes me scared though, because I think out of these 5 other amazing ladies who gets out at the end of the day, if I had to choose, and I know people are going to hate me for this, I'd say Kirsten Dunst for The Power of the Dog, but really, I don't think that's happening. I think it will come down to Aunjanue Ellis or Ruth Negga getting the snub at the end of the day, which I also don't want to happen, because I love both those performances immensely, but we're just going to have to see. Best Supporting Actor Best Supporting Actor. So my number 1 and 2, Cody Smith-McPhee and Troy Kotsur, both battling out for the win. Then my number 3 is Kieran Hines of Belfast, as it was looking likely to be a double nominee for Belfast in Supporting Actor. Now it just looks like it's going to be Kieran Hines. And then my number 4 is Jesse Plemons for The Power of the Dog. There is always that one nominee that doesn't get nominated anywhere, or only in one place that ends up getting at the Oscar. And I feel like this year it will be Jesse Plemons for The Power of the Dog. And then my number 5 is, and I'm sorry people, Jared Leto for House of Gucci. The reason I say this is because I look below at all these other potential nominees. I don't see J.K. Simmons happening. I know everybody loves Mike Weiss, but at the end of the day, I feel like that was just a BAFTA's jury thing. I don't think he's actually going to get in, especially when West Side Story is not looking like it's going to be that strong for nominations. Bradley Cooper, people seem to be predicting him magically, and I know he's got in that Screen Actors Guild, but he's just so not in Licorice Pizza that much. And even though I love Licorice Pizza, it's my favourite film of last year, he's not as much of a scene stealer as people make him out to be. So I don't really think that's actually happening. Jamie Dornan for Belfast is just dead, and Ben Affleck for The Tender Bar is just such a sad Golden Globe thing. So as much as I'd love to take Jared Leto out and put somebody else in and make us all happy, sometimes you got to face the truth, and the truth hurts people, and this is the truth that's hurt us all. Original screenplay. I'm just going to go through this really quick and get it done. Licorice Pizza, Belfast, Don't Look Up, King Richard being the Ricardos. Done. There is a world where maybe Worst Person in the World or Mask could super duper surprise, but I'm sorry, I just don't think that's happening. This is the easiest category, in my opinion, to predict all of award season in terms of the Oscars. Best Adapted Screenplay. So, Power of the Dog, Coda, Dune, and Lost All Daughter. Easy to predict, definitely getting in. And then my number 5 is really make or breaks whether Drive My Car gets in that Best Picture. If I see Drive My Car get nominated in Best Adapted Screenplay, I'll be sure it gets in that director, which will mean I'm very sure it'll get in a Best Picture. If it misses Adapted Screenplay, I will start getting worried, because the spot that will take, the film that will take that spot will be West Side Story, which is already for sure getting to Best Picture, and it'll make me think that maybe Drive My Car is actually not as strong as I thought, and that maybe we can expect being the Ricardos to make it in come the end of the day. Cinematography. Dune, The Power of the Dog, Tragedy Macbeth, and Nightmare Alley. I think we can all shake hands and agree we'll probably get nominated. My number 5 is West Side Story, because whilst yes, it did get snubbed at ASC and BAFTA, because I don't really think Belfast will actually make it in any of the day. Licorice Pizza, from which I'd love it, doesn't really seem like it's happening, it hasn't gotten anywhere. And then No Time to Die and French Dispatch seems like such kind of BAFTA thing to do. I actually do feel like West Side Story will make it in just by the scrape of its teeth. Editing. So Doom, Don't Look Up, and Belfast, I'm fairly sure will get in the nomination. And then my number 4 and 5 are complete up for grabs, and I just love it. For now, I've got No Time to Die, as much to all of our surprise, it did get ACE, Eddie, and BAFTA, which is a really strong combo to have for the nomination. And then my number 5 is actually Licorice Pizza, because whilst that hasn't been like dominating the editing nominations, it is really well. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. It got Critics' Choice, AC, Eddie, and BAFTA, which is all of them. So you know what? I've never done this whilst recording a video, but I'm actually going to swap my number 4 and 5 round. So my number 4 is Licorice Pizza, and my number 5 is No Time to Die. My number 6 is West Side Story, as it has just been getting these criminal snubs everywhere for film editing, and with all its other competition, I don't really think it's happening. However, my number 7, it could be a possible upset in editing, and that is Summer of Soul, which did get nominated at the BAFTA. And there is a documentary that came out in, like, I believe it was 94, called Hoops of Dreams, which did get snubbed for Best Documentary Feature, but still got nominated in Best Film Editing. And that shows that the film editors branch do have respect for editing in documentaries and will vote for it. So I do feel like this could potentially happen and spoil, but we'll see at the end of the day. I've got Power of the Dog on number 8 as it is a Best Picture frontrunner, but I don't know if it's happening, and that makes me concerned for its Best Picture chances. Best Production Design, so Dune, Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story, I feel like are all for sure getting in. Haven't missed a single beat. Dune and Nightmare Alley are just the classic fantastical stories they love to tell. West Side Story is a complete throwback period film that they all love. Then The French Dispatch will probably get in because they do love Wes Anderson's production design, and it is just a beautifully looking movie. And then my number 5 is something I didn't think I'd be doing, but as kind of all season gone on and we kind of not other potential nominees off, I've actually gone with The Treasures in Macbeth, as I feel like the award ceremonies are appreciating its minimalist style a lot more than we thought that they would. So whilst I do think something like Cyrano, which is a very big lavish period film, or Belfast, which is much more of like an intimate kind of production design, I'm gonna put Tragic Macbeth there. Costume design, yep, Cruella's still number one hat, fuck you, I still think it's winning. Number two is Dune, number three is West Side Story, number four is Nightmare Alley, and then number five is House of Gucci. And I'm actually really confident on this top five, because I feel like Cyrano is not as big of a contender as we thought, as I'm not even sure if Dinklage will get in at the end of the day. French Dispatch, it'll probably just be like a low nominee in a certain category, or maybe a couple like score and production design. And then Licorice Pizza and The Power of the Dog. As much as I'd love to see them both happen, yeah, I just don't think it's happening anymore. Makeup and hair. Number one, House of Gucci. Number two, Eyes of Tammy Faye. Number three, Dune. Number four, Coming to America. Stop, come on, guys, stop denying it. It's gonna happen. It's prosthetics. They love their prosthetics. It's just gonna happen. Number five is Cruella. I haven't actually seen Nightmare Alley yet, so I can't comment. But from what I've seen from trailers, I'm not really sure if it's going to get in for makeup. Then the Suicide Squad. Everyone's obsessed with the fact the first one won, so this one's just going to default get a nomination. I'm sorry, but the first one had a lot more makeup than what this movie does, so I don't actually see it happening. And then West Side Story, Cyrano, No Time to Die, just kind of done. Original score. Number one and two are Dune and The Power of the Dog, which I'm fairly sure we're all saying are going to happen. And then my number three, four, and five all feel like they could miss come the end of the day, and it's kind of scary. So I've got The French Dispatch, Don't Look Up, and Encanto. The reason I say they could all miss is because the numbers 6, 7, and 8 are all very strong potential spoilers, and that's Parallel Mothers, which has a very amazing strong score, and it did get at the Golden Globes. Spencer, which whilst it has been underperforming, if you watch Spencer, you can't help but notice the score. So I feel like if we live in a world where Kirsten Stewart gets in, I feel like Dan Spencer's score will also get in. And then we have No Time to Die, which probably isn't happening as they couldn't even get in at the BAFTA, but then at the same time, yeah, I feel like it could still happen, especially with it's going to get that song nomination and probably the win. Original song, number one, No Time to Die, probably winning. Be Alive doesn't look happening anymore, even though Be Alive is there my number two. Dogs or Auguritas, which is my number three from Encanto. I feel like it was so stupid not to have, not to put in, we don't talk about Bruno or Surface Pressures from that filming, because I feel like they'd have a much stronger shot at maybe even winning, but oh well, I guess we're going to have to make the nomination. Just Look Up from Don't Look Up, I feel like will get in as it has a really strong use of the song in terms of the film. But a lot like last year when Husvik got nominated from the Eurovision Song Contest. And then my number five is Somehow You Do from 4 Good Days, which I initially was doubting, but then I just think about how strong Diane Warren always is in terms of getting nominations at the Oscars. And I don't really feel like this will be much different, especially when I look at the rest of the songs. And none of them are really that strong. In fact, if I'm being honest, they're all quite poor songs. Guns Go Bang, Here I Am from Respect, Down to Joy. Beyond the Shore is actually a pretty good song from Coda and could happen. Automatic Woman from Bruised, I feel like could happen as it did make the shortlist. Not only that though, it is her, and her won in the surprise win last year, so it shows that she's quite well loved at the Academy. But it's doubtful. I feel like this is going to be the top five. Visual effects. Number one's Dune, probably winning. My number two is Free Guy. Number three is No Time to Die. Number four, Godzilla vs. Kong. And then number five is Matrix Resurrection. I feel like No Time to Die will probably get in as the Academy have shown to appreciate films that use visual effects very well. And No Time to Die sure does that. Godzilla vs. Kong was just the absolutely massive blockbuster this year, which kind of began to get people going back to the theatres slowly but surely. And I feel like the Academy are going to reward that. Not only that though, but Kong Skull Island got in for a nomination. I felt we're going to see a repeat of it here. And then Matrix Resurrection, for whilst it isn't that good of a film, it sure does use visual effects very well. That being said though, I do feel like because Spider-Man No Way Home's just been so talked about this award season, whilst I don't feel like it's actually going to get a nomination for Best Picture at all really at this point, it could still get appreciated by the Academy in this category. Best Sound, Do, No Time to Die, West Side Story, and A Quiet Place Part 2. I'm all fairly sure I'm going to get a nomination. And then my number five, I'm so unsure of. For now, I put Last Night at Soho in as it did get the BAFTA nomination. Not only that though, but I'd love to see it happen as I love that film. Belfast could happen as basically what they did, what you had to do this year at the Academy, you'd submit like an 8-minute clip, and for Belfast they sent them the riot scene. Now, if the voters do what I fear they have and haven't seen all the films, they could just look at that and be like, wow, amazing sound, and tick the box and not watch. And like, whilst yes, some voters may say, oh, I had a really good scene, that's good enough. In my opinion, it should be more for kind of like consistency is what you want to be seeing, and I don't really think it'd be fair if Belfast got in at the end of the day, but it could happen. And then my choice for this would be Tick Tick Boom, because it has a unique way of using sound to tell the story, but because it's not as showy, something like Sound of Metal, I'm not actually sure if it's going to make it in. Best documentary feature, number 1, 2 and 3, Summer of Soul, The Rescue and Flee. As much as I want to say, oh yeah, I'm sure they're going to get in, they just seem like the strongest in what is already always an up in the air category. So honestly, you can just look at my top 5, look at my ranking for the rest of the films on the shortlist, and you can kind of decide yourself how what you think is going to get for a nomination, because documentary feature is always a wild category at the Academy Awards, and it won't be much different this year. International feature film, number 1, Drive My Car, your winner. Number 2, Worst Person in the World. Number 3, Hand of God. Number 4, Hero. Number 5, Flea. Easy, done. Maybe my number 5 is just changeable with something else, but with something like Parallel Mothers, not here, or Titan, not even shortlisted, I really feel like that kind of clears out what the top 5 will be, and it leaves this really strong, sturdy top 5. Then lastly, best animated feature, we have Encanto, The Mitchells vs. Machine, Flea and Luca, and then my number 5, Raya and the Last Dragon. Because there's no kind of like strong international animated film that could get in at the end of the day, I feel like this number 5 is very sturdy, but I do feel like the 5th spot could be changeable with Sing 2. Sing 2 has been quite well acclaimed, much to my surprise, and it's been said to be a lot better than the first Sing, so who knows what could happen. But in terms of it just being Disney, I'm going to give Raya and the Last Dragon the edge still. Anyway, folks, there are my final Oscar nomination predictions for the 2022 season. I'm so excited to share with you my reaction video for all this, which you will be getting, don't you worry. BAFTAs, I just had to give a miss because I was so fucking unwell. And then if you're wondering what happened with my Critics' Choice nominations reaction, I did film it, but I just wasn't really kind of taken away by any of the nominations, so I just kind of left it as it wouldn't have been worth justifying making a video out of it. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. Please do feel like to check out more of my videos on my channel by clicking down below. But until next time, so long for now.